A warm welcome to Disky Talk with Liolo. If you're tuning in for the very first time, I do ask that you please subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you've been a part of this journey, I hope you thoroughly enjoy this episode. So, on today's episode, I discuss all things CAF Champions League as I have a tactical pre-match analysis of Mamelodi Sundowns versus Wydad in the semi-final second leg. So the last time out that these two sides played against each other, it did end 0-0, where then we did see Mamelodi Sundowns getting 2 red cards, one within the first half with Neo Mayema, and then within the second half at the end with Allende. So coming up then into this encounter, both of those players will be unavailable. However, when you do have a look at it then, the last time out, we had seen Mamelodi Sundowns having to change the shape with regards to how they played the rest of that encounter. So what they did then was go to this compact 4-4-1 shape and block without the ball. Sometimes what you would see then is Zwane and you'd see Murena a lot closer to Shalile whenever then they were looking to go forward, oftentimes having to use transitions and counter-attacks to try then ensure that they could get that one goal. However, what I did like then about this Mamelodi Sundowns side then is that even when they were a man down, the principles didn't change. They were still trying to institute deep build-up. They were still breaking lines, still brave in possession with regards to how then they were looking then to progress the ball. However, what stood out for me then within the last encounter against this Wydad side was how organized and how compact they were from a defensive perspective to ensure that Wydad then couldn't score that goal against a disadvantaged Mamelodi Sundowns. With Wydad, they did create a couple of opportunities, especially then from those wide areas with regards to crosses and set pieces as well. However, they just couldn't make it count. However, when we do get into this one then, it is Mamelodi Sundowns versus Wydad. So Mamelodi Sundowns are at home this time around, and coming up then into this encounter, the blue team will represent Mamelodi Sundowns and then the red team will represent Wydad. So when you have a look at Mamelodi Sundowns, they have been playing within their 4-4-2 diamond. So in goals then, you do have Ronan Williams. At left back, you've got Obri Mutiba. As the left-sided centre-back, you have Batuel. As the right-sided centre-back, you do have Mtobi Mvala. At right-back, you've got Mudau. At the base of the diamond, as a lone pivot, you've got Tebogo Mokoena. You've got Mbule on the left side of the diamond. Up top, you've got Zwane. And then on the right-hand side, like I did mention, Mayema got the red card and Allende got the red card. So I do imagine that Spelem Kulisi does come into the right side of this diamond. Up top, you've got Shalile, and then you've got Murena as well. So that is Mamelodi Sundowns with regards to their personnel and how I think that they will line up. But when you have a look at it then, let's have a look at how Mamelodi Sundowns look to build up. So with regards to how this Mamelodi Sundowns side look to build up, what they do then is look to build up from very deep. And what you would see then from this Mamelodi Sundowns is how they create this box. So you've got Mutiba who'd be looking to come in to create this double pivot with Mokoena to ensure that Mamelodi Sundowns have an extra layer within build-up phase and an extra body within the central pocket of space deep to ensure that they can look to progress the ball. Then what you do see then is both centre-backs opening either side of Ronan Williams very deep. You've got Batuel, you've got Mvala there. And what you would see then with regards to how this build-up is facilitated is Batuel looking to play the ball to Ronan Williams, and then they'll be looking to build up from there. So what this then does is that it gives Mamelodi Sundowns the initiative when you've got the centre-back passing to Ronan Williams, because what it does then, it disorientates the press. Because a lot of times when teams look to press versus a build-up scheme, what happens is that the goalkeeper would normally pass to the centre-back, and once the goalkeeper has done that, that's an indication of how the opposition should press with regards to the side they pick to press. But when it's then passed from a centre-back to the goalkeeper, it's still in the middle, and a lot of times then you don't see teams looking then to press the goalkeeper. It creates a lot of indecision, and it does disorientate the press. That is Sundowns then with regards to their build-up scheme, and then you'd have numbers further up the pitch. This is what they look to build up like. What becomes key then with regards to their build-up is how then they look to progress the ball in between the lines with regards to the verticality and how they look to break those lines then, get a bounce off, and then break the next line and progress the ball through the central channels. And what's key then to note is that the last time out with regards to how this Wydad side looked to press them, was very compact with regards to the 4-2-3-1. So what we did see then is that you had El Husseini, who was on Mokoena, looking then to ensure that he can't build up, and then you'd have Modiba there, the two wingers then in Bura on the left hand side, and then with Ojanem on the right hand side for Wydad, came very compact. So they were trying then to disorientate this build up scheme from Mamelodi Sundowns, either force them long or force them wide with regards to how they look to build up. But that's where Modiba comes in, because a lot of the times then they were able to find Modiba as a free man within that build up scheme. So that is how Wydad look to press them, and that is how Mamelodi Sundowns look to solve the problem. But we do know that they can also look to go long, play off the second ball, but because they are playing at home, I do foresee them then being as brave as they've always been throughout the season with regards to looking to build up from deep and looking to build up then within the central channels. When you move on then and have a look at the second phase and the third phase with regards to what do they look like. So let's say, for example, the ball is on the right and Mudawa is offered the width. So what you will see from this Mamelodi Sundowns side, let's just push those players up. So what you do see then from this Mamelodi Sundowns side then with regards to how they look to impose themselves when they are in possession of the ball is that they would have this right side and left side bias. So on the right side they'd have a complete right side tilt, where then you'd see this complete overload and numbers completely to the right hand side. And what you would see then is the somewhat 2-2-6 offensive scheme with regards to the numbers then that they do push forward, looking then to break into the box and looking to create chances and finish off those chances. You'd have Modiba looking to invert and they'd create this box, and this is what then it would look like from that perspective. And then if it is on the left hand side, you'd see a very similar picture. Sometimes what you do see then is sort of this 2-3-5 offensive scheme. So they're very dynamic then with regards to their offensive schemes and how then they look to ensure that they are able then to manipulate the ball when they are in possession. Very good then with regards to playing progressive passes in between the lines, lots of verticality within their play, and very quick then with regards to working the ball then into the opposition box. So that is Mamelodi Sundowns then within possession and what they look like. And coming up then into this encounter, when you have a look then at their strengths, it is then those combination passes and how good they are then within those tight pockets of space. So they're very good then at playing given goals and 1-2s in and around the area and able then to finish. As much as they play a very compact game, but they do generate a lot of chances from their very compact game. And this is a side then that uses relative to minimum width. So they're not a side that uses a lot of width with regards to how they generate their chances and how then they look to progress the ball into the box. So that is this Mamelodi Sundowns side then. When you do have a look then with regards to this Mamelodi Sundowns, a few key players. So a few key players for this Mamelodi Sundowns side then. We'll start with Batuel as the left side at centre back. I think he's been very important for this Mamelodi Sundowns side with regards then to how he's facilitated their build-up schemes, how good he's been then from a defensive perspective, aerially as well. And then when you move on then right along within the heart of midfield, you do then have Mbule. Mbule has been very key within the heart of midfield, because what he does offer you within the heart of midfield then is a lot of control. He's very creative, he's press resistant, and sometimes what you do see then, he does come alongside Mokoena to create that double pivot whenever then, for example, Modiba would be in that left-wide channel. But most cases you have Modiba looking then to invert a lot of the times, and then Mbule would look to occupy pockets of space further up the pitch. Up front, when you do have a look at it then, you do have Shalile and Murena, who are quite key then, because they are key from two perspectives. Firstly, in possession, because of the amount of goals that Shalile scores and the threat that he is. So the last time out against Wydad, he actually did score, but then was adjudged offside. And also then when you have a look at Murena, who scores very important goals for this Mamelodi Sundowns side in very crucial games, it being then a crucial game and a very important game, I do foresee him then being able to get a goal in this encounter. And then when you have a look at it from out of possession perspective, because of how this Mamelodi Sundowns side look to press. So how do they look to press? So when you have a look at this Mamelodi Sundowns side then, they do look to press within their 4-4-2 diamond. So let's just open up the opposition with regards to how they'd be looking to build up. So there's your diamond. So what you do see then from this Mamelodi Sundowns side with regards to how then they look to press is that, for example, let's say the ball's with the right-sided centre-back, you would have Shalile looking then to attach to the right-sided centre-back. You'd have Murena looking to attach to the left-sided centre-back, and then you've got Themba Zwane then who is looking to attach to the pivot. That would be Jabrane, who is their captain for this Wydad side. And then what becomes key then whenever the ball does go wide is how quick then the 8 can react, looking to get wide to combat that. So the 8 become key then with regards to how they look to close down the fullbacks. And also what you would see sometimes is that Jadi for this Wydad side would look to drop a bit deeper, looking to add an extra man within build-up, because then they are a side that look to build up from very deep. So also you would see that picture from Wydad. So they can build up with 2 within the heart of midfield, looking to be the first receivers. Sometimes then you would see Jadi pushing up a lot further. But whenever then Jadi does look to drop and look to add an extra body, it also becomes key that the 8 is able to follow and that they are able then to combat that situation. So that is Mamelodi Sundowns with regards to how they look to press. Out of possession, what do they look like? So what becomes key then with regards to their out of possession shape is how compact and organized they can become, and they go then to this 4-3-1-2 shape, where then they look to ensure that they can manage space laterally and vertically, where then opposition isn't able to play in between the lines and isn't able to play through them. So this is the shape then that you would see from this Mamelodi Sundowns side then with regards to how then they'd be looking to sit deep within a mid block and within a low block. And what becomes key then whenever there is those wide overloads from the opposition is the 8s looking to help out. Sometimes you do see the strikers looking to help out. So when you have a look at the 2 lines of 3 being the forward line and this line of 3, they become very important with regards to pressing and out of possession with regards to the work that they put in. So when Zwane does step up, sometimes then it does become that 4-3-3, but a lot of the times then it is a 4-3-1-2. So that is Mamelodi Sundowns then without the ball and what they'd look like within their block. And when you then have a look at a weakness for this Mamelodi Sundowns side, it does become set pieces. So they have struggled then when it comes to set pieces, crosses and wide overloads. So when opposition are successfully able to do that, then they do get first contact a lot of the times when it comes to those set pieces and those crosses as well. So that is something then that they should be looking to ensure that they can combat coming up into this game, especially considering that Wydad created quite a few chances from those situations. So from set pieces, they were getting first contact, and from crosses out wide, whenever they would overload the wide areas, they were getting first contact as well. However, let's move on then and have a look at this Wydad side. So when you have a look at Wydad then, they do have a new manager in Sven, and looking at him then, the last time out then, they did start with the 4-2-3-1. So I do foresee him starting then with a 4-2-3-1 as well. So in goals, you have El Morti at right back. You've got Amloud as the right-sided centre-back. You got Abul Fat. You got Zola as the left-sided centre-back. At left back, you've got Yati Allah. The double pivot then of Jabrane. And then you've got Jadi as well. Off the right-hand side, you've got Onajem as the 10. You've got El Husseini. And then off the left-hand side, you then have Bura. So they play then as inverted wingers. So and then up top, you then have Sambu. So that is this Wydad side then with regards to what do they look like then. Personnel and their shape as well. So when you have a look at it then with regards to how they're looking to build up, so I did mention that they could either build up with 2 first receivers in midfield being their double pivot. Sometimes you see Jadi going a bit higher up within the half space with regards to how then they'd be looking to build up, but this is what you'd see then, especially considering then Mamelodi Sundowns pressing scheme and how then they'd be looking to press. You've got the 2 fullbacks wide and deep with regards to offering those options. Then you've got the 2 in there. So that is what this Wydad side look like then with regards to how then they'd be looking to build up. Further up the pitch with regards to second phase and third phase, what do they look like? So with Wydad then, what you do see then is, let's take the ball to the right-hand side. Let's just push these numbers up. Strikers there, 2 centre backs. Then you got the left back there. So what you would see then from this Wydad side is that ball side fullback would be looking to offer the width. So that is also another component of how Wydad look to play. So they do look to offer a lot of support within the wide areas. So they do look to institute a lot of wide overloads with regards to how quick the fullbacks are able to support with regards to an overlapping run, and how then they could look to facilitate these wide overloads where they do institute those 2v1s. So Amloud, for example, is a player that likes to get forward very quickly. So when he does have the ball and he has offered that width, you would see then Onajem then looking to tuck in, and then you've got your two centre backs there, and the far side fullback then would be looking to tuck in. So you'd see somewhat of this 2-3-5 offensive scheme, or if the fullback is there, then you'd see that comes 2-3-5. So on the opposite side then, with regards to where they do have the ball, you'd see then an overload with regards to how quick the fullback is looking to support, and then far side fullback then would be looking to tuck in and hold a deeper pocket of space. So that is this Wydad side then with regards to what do they look like in possession, second phase and third phase as well. They've got very offensive and aggressive fullbacks with regards to how quick they look to get forward. Also then, when you have a look at this Wydad side then, with regards to their key players. So when you have a look at a key player for this Wydad side, it is Sambo up front. He is very physical, and a player then who's very good at holding up the ball, and a player then who can trouble Mamelodi Sundowns, especially considering that they do have those aerial weaknesses. Within the heart of midfield, it is their captain Jabrane. He becomes key with regards to dictating the tempo that they look to play at, with regards to looking then to progress the ball for this Wydad side. However, what do they press like? So with this Wydad side then, they do press with a very compact 4-2-3-1 block. So let's just open up Sundowns to how then they'd be looking to build up. So that is what you'd see from this Sundown side. So like I did mention then, they were very compact with regards to how they look to press. So it does become that 4-2-3-1, where El Husseini would be looking to attach to Mukwena, ensuring then that he can't come and offer support with regards to looking to build up. So that is what they do look to press like. However, I would say that it does become quite key then that they do take a risk and maybe take Jadi and attach him onto Mudiba, or you can have Ojanem coming really compact and looking to come inside and then looking to press Mudiba, because the last time out they couldn't really find solutions then for Mudiba with regards to how he was creating that double pivot within the heart of midfield, and then that extra layer within build-up. So that is something that they should be looking to combat. When you do have a look at this Wydad side then, another aspect of their game then, because you got Ojanem and then you've got Bura as well, they're quite quick. So from offensive transitions, they can also look to hurt this Mamelodi Sundowns side, especially considering then that in this game, I do foresee Mamelodi Sundowns having a lot more possession, and I do foresee Wydad then sitting a lot deeper. But what would they look like then when they do sit a lot deeper? So with regards to Wydad sitting a lot deeper, you do foresee them sitting within their 4-2-3-1, looking to be very compact with regards to how then they'll be looking to ensure that they do manage that space. So this is what I do foresee then from this Wydad side. And sometimes then it can also sort of change. It can go to that 4-5-1, where then you have El Husseini will go one side, Jadi can go one side, then you've got Jabrane, and they'll be looking to sit that deep. When you do then have a look at this Wydad side then with regards to their strengths. So their strengths then come from crosses, wide overloads, and set pieces. So that feeds into Mamelodi Sundowns weaknesses, actually, because Mamelodi Sundowns weaknesses, that is where Wydad are very strong, and that is where then they could look to capitalize. However, I do foresee this game as a very interesting encounter, especially considering that it was 0-0, and going then into the second leg, which will be played at Loftus in Pretoria, it does make for a very interesting dynamic, especially considering the weather conditions, because do know that the North African teams are used to playing in better weather conditions with regards to the temperature, so they are not used to playing in the heat, and they do tend to struggle whenever then they do come to Pretoria and play against Mamelodi Sundowns within the heat, whereas that is something that suits Mamelodi Sundowns because then they're accustomed to that. So it is a very interesting encounter. With regards to Wydad off the bench, they do have Mutaraji. That is a player then who can come off the bench and look then to make an impact for this Wydad side. When you have a look at set pieces then with Mamelodi Sundowns, Mudiba does become key then because he delivers very good balls into the box. Then you've got Mukwena as well. When you have a look at Wydad with regards to their set pieces, you do have Yati Allah, who's very key. You also have Ojanem as well. However, I do foresee Mamelodi Sundowns then advancing to the final of the CAF Champions League. At home, do let me know who wins this one between Mamelodi Sundowns and Wydad. Thank you very much for tuning in to yet another special episode of Diski Talk with Liolo. Signing out.